out of the way and play f4, and you'll clamp down on the center and you'll line up this. And because you have this blockade down the center of the board, it disallows black from transferring pieces to this side to defend the king. Watch, knight to e4, right?
I'll just be over here, sharpening my feathers.
Con này kể cả dùng ulti rồi mà cất cái bóng thì vẫn được ngồi tiếp.
Sáng thế nhở? Thôi tao hơi ám ảnh cái đấy mẹ.
Đúng rồi, mình chết rồi đấy. Em cứ rồng đấy. Yếu à?
Nhưng mà lính đéo rồng luôn phải còn tự giác rồi nhá. Bằng treo. Anh. Nào, bố bảo là em bảo.
Chị đam mê này.
Anh có thử quy cái sao?
She plays f3. Now, Doakipus, he takes on e5, and here she has a decision. Is she going to take this or this? And she decides to take like this. He moves the knight back to f6, and she plays queen c2. So right now, she's lining up to h7. Bishop takes knight is a threat. He plays h6, he does spot it, and she plays knight to d2. So far, so good. White is slightly better. White has more space, more active pieces, and better prospects. Black plays bishop d6. And now again, rather than trading or this, white plays the move rook e1, just improving their position. This rook hasn't played yet, so you go rook e1. Clamp down on the center, you want them to take you. Knight to h5. Now this is kind of the first move of the game. It takes about 14 moves, but but the level.
Bằng chèo vãi rồi.
Không bị dính choáng kìa.
Disparity is very clear. I mean, knight h5 is a move that simply, it doesn't improve black's position at all. And this knight here is just a liability. You know, it can be a target. It's going to be stranded from the side of the board. It's not going to be able to come back anytime soon. And more likely than not, it's just going to have to go back here, or it's going to be lost. A better move here might have been actually to surprisingly take this, and then if takes, try to create some sort of counterplay, for example, like this, and ultimately you will need to go back to d7 and try to maybe rotate the knight to the other side of the board to make that trade. But it's a very passive and maneuvering and slow position for black. Knight to h5, and now we see this f4. So Irina's getting everything she wants. The only thing she would like is if you could somehow rotate these two. If the queen was in front of the bishop, this would just be mate. But because it's only the bishop going down there, it's just a check. So now we get b6. So again, two moves on kind of opposite sides of the board. Black is losing the thread, as we say in chess. Like, you're running out of what to do. Now she plays queen d1, so the knight has to go back. And now she plays queen f3, and it's very clear what she wants. I mean, it's very clear what she wants. She's going to march in now with the pawn. So, again, kind of the level difference. Here, white has a few ways to make progress, but this pawn break offering this capture, and queen f5 offering an infiltration. Now you have this attack, you have the pressure on the knight, and black is just so passive. All of black's pieces are out, but they're not fighting for the necessary squares on the board. So here we have kind of the big dramatic moment of game number one, as Jackey plays queen c8, which just abandons this bishop completely. It used to be guarded by the queen, but I guess he was, he saw this, and here just bishop takes, and now the bishop just comes back. Now, white is up a bishop and has all of the benefits of their position that they had previously, so the pressure is going to be very bad. Bishop to a6, bishop takes f6, a very nice move, chopping down the position here, and now f takes e6, just shredded all open, like a Christmas present, just... And then here, and white has a few ways to win this, but she takes on a6. This move deflects the queen, right? You're winning by material, so you want to trade some pieces. And now she plays rook takes e6, f takes e6, and in this position, the first game ends, and Irene takes a 1-0 match lead. Well, the game is over because she will literally just go here, and then the queen will hunt down all the pawns, and you can take this to an endgame, but more likely you're just going to deliver checkmate because you have queen g6 and rook f7, and you're just going to win the game. So she has a 1-0 lead, and we go to the second game. Now, she's playing with the black pieces here, and Jackey begins with d4. Knight f6, knight f3. So far, very solid. Black plays b6. This is a setup by white that is kind of, it's known...
Mẹ đó.
Cái gì đấy? Ôi. Cái mẹ nó rồi ơi. Đã nhìn mọi người chơi.
Ôi rồi, giải quả này đẹp quá. Thế đấy rồi. Nó team mình có con ra số này. Ôi, phải ra.
Tao thấy là su rồi.
Đi. Quả đấy cái hơi triple ở Aqua đấy. Cái mẹ nó thằng lồn blitz tay đâu bỏ ra phải có cổ ra đây. Con thảo đấy quả. Nó chém thứ nhất của thảo.
One is very non-confrontational. Like, this is it's a super solid queen's pawn setup, but again, it's very passive, right? Like, this bishop isn't out. White is not fighting for an advantage here. White is just playing a chess game, basically. Like, white's pieces are out, but the knight is not really developed toward the middle. Like, this bishop hasn't been accounted for. It's an opening to go e3, but you would rather develop your bishop because you just completely locked it out of the game, right? So let's see how a strong, experienced player here in a position like this kind of outmaneuvers their opponent. So white plays knight to e5, right? Same thing that Irene did. You remember last game, she played the same knight to e5, but the difference between these two moves is the fact that knight e5, like, white doesn't have any pieces lined up to the king. See, in the last game, knight e5 was the beginning of a plan to expand the position and then create an attack. White's not equipped to attack here, so she just finishes her development and offers a trade. That's what master level players do. They locate the advantageous trades in the position, the right way to transform the position. Like, at some point, this will open up and this bishop will be super strong, right? So f4, that's actually not a bad move, but again, your bishop is not in the right spot. And in the last game, the center was locked. Like, if we just very quickly peep on over to the last game, if we go, you know, here, the center is locked. Do you see that? How, like, it's completely shut. But when you do this, and you have, like, some big attacking plan, at any moment, I can just shred open the center. You need a locked center if you want to go on an attack. So she's finishing her development, rook c8, bishop f3, but the position is still very much in the balance. Now b3 gets played, and here we have knight to f6, continuing to improve, bishop b2, and now our first change of the game. We have knight takes, queen takes, and the new knight arrives on e4, attacking the queen. Now, you can either make this trade and lose the bishop for the knight, or you can just move the queen in the game. We just got queen move. Now Irene plays this very important move, f6. Basically saying, look, this knight is standing nicely in the center, but it has no targets. Now the knight has to go to this very awkward square g4. The knight can always rotate back, but it is very uncomfortable. So now Irene plays queen e8. Again, another nice maneuvering move. She wants to go to g6. White plays rook c1. No one's taking anything in the center. Well, queen g6 is planned. Now we get h3, and here we have rook f to d8. So the rooks have arrived. They're reinforcing the center pawns, just anticipating the opening of the position. Black has a very good bind. In this position, both players have 8 pawns, which means it's a very locked or closed position. In those kinds of situations, it's all about finding the right maneuvers, putting your pieces on their optimal squares for the long-term plan, and anticipating at any moment that a pawn capture or two will drastically open up the board. And anticipating at any moment that a pawn capture or